could have known one beyond my wildest dreams. Maybe that road could have carried me to streets of gold, but things aren't always as they seem. Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wondered what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, that would have kept me from the one I have today. Except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, that would have kept me from the one I had today. Everywhere I could have ended up just like that broken road, with a dead end in my path. Thank the Lord that I've got more than that. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I won't forget the lessons that I don't deserve.
Good morning. Let's interrupt the Ridgetop Ramblers. This is 1100 WSGI. I'm Utah Laverne, and this is One Street Over, and we welcome you to the morning. Thank you so much for joining us, and always one of my favorite days of the month. We got Mayor Billy Vogle in the house. How are you doing, Mayor?
I'm doing good. It's frosty.
Get on that microphone.
28 degrees this morning.
No,
Frost out.
No, it's cold out there.
Yeah.
Well, it's supposed to be. It's January. I mean, for a few more days. And we're going to be done with January here in a minute. Oh, I got to give the Bible reading. Yes, I'm behind. But we finished Genesis yesterday. We are in Exodus. Today, we're going to start with Exodus chapters 1 through 3, and then we're reading Psalm 17. Exodus chapters 1 through 3 and Psalm 17. And as I have been saying, reach out to Bethlehem Baptist Church, talk to Rachel Culver, get on her email list, and you will get all the cool stuff that she is sharing with us. Great devotionals. We're reading through the Bible in a year. So I've never succeeded in doing that because I'm extremely attention deficit.
Well,
and I have a hard time staying on task with stuff. So anyway, but there you go.
A lot of people don't admit, you you think every day, like I'm going to do my devotional, and before you know it, you forget it. Yeah. You forget to do it that day. You're getting up, thinking about things. Like this morning, I walked out of the store about my Coca-Cola and my banana after I paid for it.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, you just get something on your mind.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really thinking about getting on the radio this morning. I was thinking about my day after the radio.
Okay. Well, honestly and truthfully, and I'm scooting over next to you because I've got the camera kind of wonky, that one, and so I'm trying to stay in here and have a conversation with you, and not cut myself off the shot. But inside stuff unless you're watching on social media. But anyway, I do that sometime. I'll check out at Walmart and leave a bag.
Yeah.
And I get home and I'm like, well, where's my whatever? And
and I can't believe every morning or when I go home at night and or go out to the truck in the morning, I need another hand. My hands are full.
you need to get you a tote bag.
Okay.
Or something like that.
A briefcase. Do I look like a briefcase
You
man?
definitely need a briefcase. You're the mayor of the county. Of course you need a briefcase. Well, because you've got all kinds of stacks of papers and stuff. Yes. Buy this man a briefcase. Yes. Buy this man a briefcase, fam.
I've got one somewhere.
Yeah. Well, and it's just you've probably pushed against
a beach bag or something. I can make it work.
I can see Mayor walking in the courthouse with his beach bag over his shoulder. That'll be great. That'll be awesome. But yeah, you need to have a briefcase. Yeah. I can imagine that would make your life a lot easier. I can imagine.
I come in this morning. I can hear sirens in Springfield, and you hear the sun's just now coming up, but. People live in Nashville, places like that. They hear that all night long. Oh, yeah. All night long. Mm-hmm. And
I love where I live. I do. Yeah. I don't know. We're blessed, brother.
Yeah.
We're blessed.
I had Good Morning Robson County last week, and the mayor of Springfield was talking about the crime is down in Springfield.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Miss Ann Schneider.
Yeah, they didn't have but one murder last year.
Oh, wow.
Which one is too many.
Absolutely.
But still, I'm waking up this morning to see another mass shooting in California 2 days in a row. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the answer is.
Jesus. Pure, plain and simple. It is Jesus, and the country has turned their back on God, and everybody's like, why does God let that happen? He does not.
No.
You have, you've said you don't want him, and he's a gentleman, and he has stepped away. And if you want his favor on your life, you got to seek him, and you can't just say you believe in him. You got to seek him.
Before we get into county news, my Sunday school lesson this past week was about Jonah. When God sent him to Israel to tell them, "Hey, y'all messing up down there."
Jonah to Nineveh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, Jonah ran. He didn't want to deliver the message.
No, because he didn't like them.
And then he got in that ship. And they finally threw him overboard. But I didn't know God provided Jonah a whale. I thought the whale swallowing him up and keeping him in his belly for 3 days was part of his punishment. But no, God provided him that whale so he wouldn't drown. Yeah. And, of course, after Jonah went and delivered the message, then it tickles me. He went up on this hillside and was waiting for God to zap his finger and destroy all these people. And he was mad when God didn't do it. Yeah.
Well, they say that the Ninevites were they were just evil, and they were. It would be like us trying to go and minister to ISIS, because they were. I think if I remember it correctly, they were. Are they up around the Syria area?
Yes.
Yeah, and
the thing
that's
about
where crucifixion began, and just horrible, terrible torture. They were bad people.
We think the world's bad today, but if you read the Old Testament, them people were heathens.
No.
They were.
Yeah. Well, we just don't have a clue. We don't have a clue. It's just like we were talking about the shootings when we started out. And what's the answer? Well, the answer is Jesus, pure, plain, and simple. And if you want this to stop, we got to turn our hearts back to him. And if you don't, we're going to continue down this road. But everybody's like, oh, it's just worse than it's ever been. Go and read about the Greeks and the Romans, man.
Yeah.
And especially Romans. Oh, my goodness, the Roman leaders during the time of Jesus, they were horrible. And most of them. And, yeah. But anyway, they're just some of the things you read about what was going on in those communities at the same time Jesus was walking the earth. We ain't seen nothing.
Yeah.
We ain't seen nothing.
People are sun civil today to each other. I think we're turning the corner on that some.
I hope so.
But we can agree to disagree. Mm-hmm. And without, going to being uncivil. It's just part of life. Not everybody thinks the same.
Honestly and truthfully, one of the reasons why I've turned away from the political world is because of the hostility that I have felt from it. And I just that's not to say I'm checked out of it, because I'm still involved in the way that I'm supposed to be as God commanded me to be. But I can't take the I don't know. It's just the hatefulness of it, and there's just too much of it. And that's not to say all of it, but you know what I'm talking about. There's just a degree of it that just bothers me, and we got to get beyond that. We got to get beyond that, And I don't know. We had Senator Kerry Robertson here yesterday, and he was talking about the inauguration for our governor on the weekend, and it started with worship. And I don't care who you are, folks, what side of the political party you feel on. If you can't unify on the fact that we've got a governor, agree with him or disagree with him, that started off in deep worship, and that's where he's a godly man, godly Christian man, trying to lead our state in the way he sees God leading him, and he's prayerful about it. So I don't always agree with him, but man, at least he's following Jesus. I'll give him that.
He started out talking about him and his wife's going through many trials right now.
Well, she's got cancer.
Yeah. And he's already lost one wife, and the man, when he talks in a tone of voice that is so it carries out there. I was at a meeting last week in Nashville with the secretary of the commissioner of transportation was there to speak in front of us, Butch Ely. He's also the deputy governor. He's pulling overtime, double time, but the governor's message to us was the congestion on the interstates, working on infrastructure for our interstates and stuff. And he told us last week that the state of Tennessee needs $84 billion right now for interstate construction.
Wow.
Now, that's not counting what they've already allotted. That's how much extra we need. And every project that they start now is running over 40% more cost.
Well, it's because everything's gone up.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when they first started, if you want a road built, he said that's last week, you're 14 years out. If you start today on the project. So, what cost 14 years ago is a lot higher today. So if you're finishing up something, you're getting into another cost time period. So I don't know. He doesn't want to raise fuel taxes. That was out of the question. And he doesn't want to go to toll roads. But they're talking about doing that, what they call it, privilege lane, where you pay over your phone on an app or something. And I don't understand it if you're not building another lane, how that's going to take congestion off.
I don't either.
I don't see how that's going to work. But
I'm a big fan of toll roads. I'm just like you. I experienced it down in Texas when I was down there at the Blaze, and they worked great. We used them going through Chicago all the time, going to see my husband's family. It's just part of it. The thing is, once it's paid for, take it off of there, and that's the thing that people push back on. But we're growing so fast in this state that it's just going to be taxing to keep up with
let
it.
the people that's using the road pay for it. Plus, if you don't want to pay it, get on the side roads and take a scenic route.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's not like you got to pay it. But I used it every day when I was working in Ezell, Indiana.
Yeah.
And if it hadn't been for that toll road, I couldn't come home every night. And it was $2, and that was $2.
Frustrating,
that's not. It saved a lot of gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus you can run 80 miles an hour.
Well, and the thing is, people want to get frustrated about what we're doing and where we are. Well, guys, this is what we've made for ourselves. So if you don't like it, then get involved. Like I said, I just checked out of politics, but be involved in the way that you can be involved, in the way you see God leading you to be involved. And he's pulled me away from it, but we still have to make sure we know who we're electing to office, that we're paying attention to what's going on, and we're being diligent with that. But the last 50 years, we've built this thing, and there you go. So if we want it to be better, get engaged as best you can, and make sure you go. The thing that frustrates me are people that are just not even voting. They're completely checked out of that, and they're not paying attention to who we're putting into office. And I think that right at the core of it is a big issue. But my goodness, we're going down a rabbit hole here, and I love talking to this guy. He's a good friend, Mayor Billy Vogle, in the house today for One Street Over. And we got you a week late this
Sure
month
do,
because you had the holiday last week.
Yep,
so
we're coming off the holidays.
Yes.
I have to admit our business in the county is still business as usual, but the agenda we had last night was about as short as I've ever seen. There could be a lot of reasons for that, but everybody's still kind of waking up after Christmas.
Yes.
We all come back from holidays, and you can tell things are different.
Yeah.
Let me get on to Christmas. I've got we build up Christmas and get to it, and then the Christmas night, it's just like you flip a switch.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. The Christmas music stops, the movies stop. It's unreal, and I kind of enjoy the days after Christmas, just taking it easy and the tree shining, but now it's a race to take it down.
Well, I never consider taking mine down to the first week in January,
Yeah.
but I do not put it up until right before Christmas. I'm not one of these that puts it up during November. I put it up late. And then I take it down first week of January. And so, but hello, brother. Come on. Thank you very much. He's bringing me something that he wants me to talk about. Charter school information session tonight. So that is something that's going on, and that is happening tonight. If you're interested in the charter school that they're working on, it's going to happen at Purpose Life Church, and it is tonight, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And so just if you've got questions, concerns, anything like that, there you go. And that is going on tonight. Miss Lee Marie had sent me something on that as well, so we were going to get into that in a little bit. But anyway, as long as I didn't forget. But anyway, so there you go. And, well, what do you want to start with? What do you want to start with?
Hey, I just be honest with you, the meeting, I think we had a 25-minute meeting.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that is unreal. We're supposed to take a picture for history, the group together, but we didn't get to take that picture. But, if you go into the courthouse, you see the pictures from all the county commissioners.
Right.
And it's neat. A lot of my old friends are gone now that you speak, which I'm one of the senior ones.
Oh, my.
And that's hard to
Honestly.
think about, 25 years. Gosh, it's more than 25 now. But I can think about all the gentlemen I served with and women.
Uh-huh.
And I guess it's how times change.
It's kind of weird because that's
Yeah.
one thing. That's kind of one of the things that kept me up last night. The kids talk a lot about, you're 60 years old, Miss Vivio. And I don't really think about it. But then I start thinking about, wow, those kids are 15 years old. And in 20 years, I'll be 80 and they'll only be 35.
You think they look at the big picture?
I don't. They're high school students. They do as best they can. But I remember think back on where your head was at that age. And it definitely wasn't thinking on the thing. That's one thing I try to really remember, because I will try to make a point and I think, you know what, they're 15. And I don't want to. Oh, I don't want to expect them to act like adults, because they're not. And but I do, we've talked a lot about, we've been talking about banking in one of the classes, because I'm teaching a class on introduction to business and marketing. Until I can build up the audio video program, I have to teach some classes that are secondary to what I'm doing. Or not second, I don't even know how to put that. I have to teach some supplemental things until we can build the program. I guess that's the proper way to say it. And one of those is Introduction to Business and Marketing. And one of these sections in the curriculum is on banking. But it was later in the semester. And I started with it because I told the students, I said, guys, if you don't understand the finances of business, you have no business and then nothing to market. To me, that's the foundation of it all and where you start. Now, they're bored. They're like, math. But it's one of those things that so many of them have just never really thought about. There's a few of them that have checking accounts, they have jobs, they do direct deposit, they do all of those things. And so they get it. But you're talking about credit cards. And I have a friend that she's the auditor she's the director of auditing for TenCare. And so she lives just right near the school. And I said, why don't you come by and just kind of reinforce what I've been telling them and clarify a few things that I'm not sure I'm making clear. And so we had that going on. And so as we're talking to them, I'm trying to help them. I don't want to expect more of them than we should, but in the same sense, I want to make sure somebody looks them in the eye and says, pay attention to this. This matters. And I hope they're getting that in other classes as well. But anyway.
Nobody explained to me when I was younger, but if you just start saving money at an early age and putting it in a 401k or whatever, what it could be when you get ready to retire.
Right.
And if you start early, you'd be shocked at how fast, when the interest starts compounding, what it will do.
You better believe it.
Yeah, that's a good class.
Absolutely. Well, we're trying, brother. Yeah. So what did you do last night in the meeting?
After I'm going to start with communications, and I'm going to do it's not bad news. I'm going to get it out of the way. We had 2 findings.
Okay.
And we went 3 years. Yes, we went 3 or 4 years with no findings. But these were, one of them was some way we had the personal handbook, wrote up, and we turned ourselves in. Something didn't look right. We turned it into state auditors, and sure enough, they said it wasn't worded right. So they made a finding out of it, which all we had to do was get our county attorney to turn some words around
right,
where it would sounded more kosher, and that was an easy fix. Easy fix. And then the schools had someone build them in 22, but the bill didn't come in till 23. This is where I was explaining from Dr. Causey. So it didn't get paid the year that it was,
Okay.
So the only way to fix that was the building company that made the mistake. We got a new building company, and that was the fix.
Okay.
But it was, just little
Little things,
Yeah.
but you like it when you have no findings.
But right now, as Commissioner Rummel pointed out, we're below budget for the 6 months into the budget. We're running in good shape. So the department head is doing a great job, and even with gas going up and down, you can't put a crystal ball on the natural gas for our schools, and of course we just came through a major freeze during Christmas.
Oh yeah.
The strain it was on keeping things heated when the buildings was empty. We had damage in 2 buildings. Our clinic for the employees.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
We have a pipe bust, and of course we left here on a Thursday afternoon. It was 60-something degrees, and we woke up Friday morning, and it was 15 below zero.
It was crazy.
Yeah, and the dentist office up there on the health department, the hot water heaters in the ceiling, it busted and pretty well ruined that entire building.
Oh no.
That building will be down a while, but we was able to get the clinic back up and running a week ago last week.
Okay.
A week ago Friday and that's thanks to a lot of kudos, people working hard, and that clinic's back open. But you don't see things like that happening. It's just unusual. Anything to do with the Robs County government, we didn't have any problems because I guess somebody maybe left the thermostat up,
or just left the water dripping.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing
So
people
that
just
was
don't realize. That
we
makes
came
a
out pretty
difference.
good, but
Yeah.
so many people had water damage and things freezing. We was able to get the clinic back open, and while we was talking about the school kids, in my communications, the opioid lawsuit that I know some people's probably familiar with, Johnson & Johnson settled the lawsuit nationwide to the counties and cities over the opioids. And this past week, I got the template from the state about how the money will be spent in the counties when the state sends its money to us from the lawsuit. And I was disappointed in some of the things that we could not use it for. This money will go strictly toward day one when handed out for education, prevention, and toward the people that are addicted. But I was worried more about some of the families that are living with people that have this addiction. I'm thinking about kids.
Oh yeah.
When the officers going home at night, and of course the kids got nowhere to go, so they end up on somebody's couch in a children's services office.
Right.
And I was wanting to help Costa out.
Well, and you figure that's what Isaiah House
Yeah.
is all about. The Isaiah, Isaiah 117.
I was really wanting to help these places out.
Right.
But there's nothing in that template for the families. Not one thing. The only thing I saw was where if a person has an addiction and they're in rehab or counseling, that this money can be used for child care during daycare. That's it.
Okay.
The rest of it is strictly prevention, education. So that means the sheriff's department's going to get some money. At schools, teaching these kids what opioids can do to you, how it starts, whether it starts at vaping or whatever, to try to keep them away from the street corners on these pills, because it's devastating. I was even wanting to use some of it for the autopsies, because I'm signing off on autopsies every month, and 80% of it is drug overdoses. But I can't even use it for that. Anything to do with the history from yesterday back, that's gone. It's strictly setting up classes and prevention pretty well. And that makes a lot of sense, but I do know autopsies are going up. I got a piece of paper the other day said that they're going up $300 or $400 an autopsy plus $300 a transportation fee, and it's getting to be very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you possibly, put some of the money towards some of the rehab places like Hope Center and different programs?
There is some money that can go for housing,
confirmers and all that.
while they're going through the program.
Okay.
Stuff like that, but it's not a lot outside of the problem. It's the person itself. It's really not.
And there's so many things going on at the churches.
I mean, we got to get them back in jobs
Right.
and stuff like that. And,
Right.
and there's a little money, I think you could do that. But as the problem probably gets bigger, this money's going to come in the next 17, 18 years.
Will they be able to use it through recovery court?
Yes.
Okay.
Recovery
Well, good.
court is involved. Anything where the person is having a problem today.
Okay. Well, that's good
Yeah.
because, I mean, we got an amazing recovery
so Judge
court.
Perry and then we'll be able to slice some of the pie for them.
Okay, good.
So this is something that's going to go on 17, 18 years, and they want this money to start on these programs, and they expect them to last that long. Now, with the money, the checks come in 15 years from now, the biggest one we got the other day, no. The checks will probably get smaller.
Okay.
And then the state is holding back 2 to 3% of the money for the cities and counties that feel like they didn't get their allotment that they should have got.
Okay.
And that's based on fatalities, arrest, what goes through courts. That's what that's based on.
Okay. Talking with Mayor Billy Vogle, our county mayor. I'm going to take a spot break here real quick. But we're talking about all things Robertson County concerned. If you have some concerns and you want to throw them up in comments, we'll certainly share those with him. And right now we want to share with you some details about my friends Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. If you need help in real estate, and it really truly does not matter if it's buying or selling, if you want to be a realtor, Barry and Rebecca both came out of other careers. He was a vice president of a media marketing company for 17 years. She came out of radiology. She was working in radiology when she got bit with the real estate bug, and that's been many years ago because she was one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. She's always studying to stay up to date on what you need when you come to the real estate table, buying or selling. If you're buying, you got to know what you're pre-qualified for. You got to understand the implications of what the interest rates are now versus a year ago. I was talking to the students about that just yesterday, and it does make a difference, and it does change things for you. So what is it that you're wanting to do at the real estate table? They are experts at it, and they want to help you. They're in Cross Plains. They've been there for over 20 years. You'll find them at the Kilgore Session Bluegrass Festival, third weekend in May. I'll be there as well, but they can talk to you there. But, you know, you don't have to wait until the festival to sit around the table with them. Of course, you can call them, and they'll come over or invite you over. Whatever you need them to do, they are there to work with you and help you out. If you want to see what they have going on, go to sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy BUY RobertsonCounty.com. Or you can give them a call, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. They specialize in Robertson County properties, but they buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky as well. When you contact them, you know, always tell them U-Turn sent you. Mayor Billy Vogle in the house. And we're talking about all things Robertson County driven and the county commissioners meeting last night. A week late because of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. And that will happen again next month because President's Day.
Right.
That it'll push it a week later. So just kind of make that note in your calendar. It's so funny. Last week, it was Monday, and I was like, and tomorrow, Mayor Billy Vogle. No, he won't. It just all of a sudden hit me. You know, I was like, that's wrong. And I knew it, but it's still until that day I had to.
Do you have a hard time getting people to come on radio?
No.
Yeah, really?
No. My biggest struggle is finding the time to reach out to them because I just am covered up with stuff right now.
Well, I tell people they got a message. I said,
just message me.
You need to get on the radio and deliver your message.
They just need to reach out to me, and you can give them my number and tell them to text me, because if they call me and I don't know the number, I'm not going to pick it up. But you can give my number out and tell them to text me and say, hey, you talked to the mayor. I want to come on the show for this or that. Absolutely. I'll be glad to have them on. Because that's a struggle. Lee Marie produced the show for me for a while. Now she's doing her own thing, and she still points some great guests in my direction. But I'm really so much going on with school right now. My head's into. We're working on a presentation for Black History Month, which is next month, and I want the students to produce some things, and it's coming along. We're finally kind of getting our rhythm. We're just still learning the equipment and what we have access to and how all these things work, but we're finally getting some things done. And it's just, and then we got Jordan Osborne coming in today to do a.
Do you?
Yeah, she's coming in for our homeroom time, we call cat time.
Yeah.
And she's going to present something to the senior class about a job fair. Well, they want us to record it. So I've got to step away and do that, which is wonderful. That's what we want to do, but it's just got to get that done, and two, the fact that I'm not concentrating on audio video all day, I have to step away and do these other classes. And so it's hard to keep everything on task and just get it all done. It's just a lot. If you've never sit in the world of a teacher, you just don't have a clue.
Jordan and Carly do a great job with the chamber.
Yeah, they do.
When I was coming out of high school, you thought, well, you're going to stay on the farm or you're going to go work in a factory. I don't like to hear the word factory. Mm-hmm. I've been in these businesses like
it's not
Electrolux
factories.
and bath
Production
fitters.
facility.
Let me tell you, those places are clean as a pin.
Yeah.
Hey, they run
Airtech. Oh,
safety is preached.
Yeah.
These are great jobs.
You bet.
And if you start out, you're going to learn a trade just working in there that could. I told somebody the other day, we're in the middle of this infrastructure money that's fixed to start coming through the county toward water lines for all our water systems, Springfield, West Robinson, White House, Greenbrier. Orlinda and Cross Plains is getting money to work on the DEMA system for sewer inside the city limits that will pull more commercial and industrial in. And we got to have that money spent by into 24. There's not enough contractors out there to do the work that all these counties are looking for. The cities, and if there's a young man that want to get a backhoe and a dump truck and go to work, it's there for them. Now, there's more than just going to college. There's some jobs out there.
You better believe it.
And these kids coming out of high school need to realize that their options are unlimited.
You bet.
And I'm talking about making some good money.
Absolutely.
Good money.
Absolutely.
And all of course, it takes an engineer and architect to draw it up. But if you can read a piece of paper, you can go out there and lay water lines.
Oh, yeah.
Or work on sewers or whatever. Yeah.
There's a lot of
options.
A lot of work.
And this infrastructure money is, I'm working with GNRC. We had a Zoom meeting last week, and it's going to be a big deal how the money's handed out. The city's going to be very credible about how they spend it, and it's going to be paid off in stages to the contractors. But it's really going to help Robinson County grow.
Very good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about like development grow. I'm just talking about water lines that produce for sewer and water pressure, for fire hydrants, safety.
Well, it's just like we've talked about how that, I love my piece of property. I absolutely love it. But there for a long time, there were no water taps. You could not potentially build a house in a lot of areas because there were no water taps. Now there are now. And I don't know that I want any more down on my property, but it's a nice option for people who have property on that road to have the water taps and build. We may have one for one of my sons one of these days, but it's just the fact that we have access to it now and wouldn't have to dig a well. It's nice.
Yeah,
And
and people don't think about, unless you're out in the rural areas, if you don't have a fire hydrant pretty close, you're going to be on an insurance schedule that's pretty rough.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with us being close, people talk about, they tease us about, you're right there next to the wastewater plant. They've been an awesome neighbor. They've been fabulous to us, and the fact that they're there gives us access to fire protection because they're not that far from us, and we're right there on Cars Creek too, so we got a lot of water source. But I just can't say enough about how we've enjoyed being a part of Springfield. It's just like we've been here 30 years.
Yeah. Wastewater really gets a bad rep.
Yes, it does.
And I'm going to tell you, when this water comes out of the wastewater system, it's cleaner than anything we're seeing laying on the side of the road. It is.
Yes, it is.
It's done been filtered. It's done been chemicaled. It is as pure as it can be. And people would think, they call stuff lagoons. Them are not lagoons. They're holding ponds.
Yeah.
And that water has done been cleaned when it gets in them holding ponds. The DEMA systems are really working.
So I grew up on a hog farm, so I understand the process. And that's probably what allowed me to get past the idea of, when we first saw the property, we're like, we're not going to live next to the wastewater plant. And then the more we looked at it, we're like, we're going to really kick ourselves if we don't pick up this piece of property. And yes, I would have, because I got 40 acres on the city limits. And I mean, it's a beautiful piece of property. And I have a lot of people knocking on my door going, you want to sell it? I'm like, nope. But I'm glad that we went ahead and got past that. And I don't know why we're off on this, but it's just one of those, as you're talking about,
it's part of county government, city government.
Yes. And they're doing improvements. They're getting ready to completely redo it. And it's time, but I can't imagine it. I mean, it's been great.
It's just like a landfill or anything else.
Nice,
Somebody's got to live near it.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, with the state recommendations, their regulations.
Oh yeah,
nobody's going to take a shortcut.
No.
I mean, it's down there at the transfer station. There's a creek right across the road.
Right.
And the state tests that water
regularly. You better believe it.
That gas that comes out of that landfill from the years past when Robinson County used it, is tested and tested and tested.
Yeah.
And they will. I mean, what trash that comes in that transfer station every night? That floor's got to be clean.
Yeah.
You can't leave none overnight.
Yeah.
And that's how serious that business is and how much it's regulated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How are things coming with the, I've had a lot of the students talk to me about where can I get volunteer hours, because they have a lot of, if they're in Honor Society, Beta Club, if
Yeah.
they're getting the Tennessee Promise, they have to do volunteer hours. And I'll point them to the Humane Society, to the animal shelter. How are we in regards to
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up,
development?
because in our reports, number one is animal control.
Okay.
I reported last night that our new facility, the foundation's laid, the gas line's been run,
Awesome.
the water line's been run, the block walls are up, and now they're doing the studs. Now that the weather is breaking some, we're ahead of schedule or right on schedule, and we're also right on cost.
Good.
It has not overrun, but there is a need there at animal control. The dogs have got to be, the cages clean every day, the cats, you just wouldn't believe unless you went down there.
Mm-hmm.
Every bowl, drinking bowl, feeding bowl has to be washed every day,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't want no disease in there. And there's a lot of diseases that these dogs are brought in with,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to keep them separate. They have to be, the vet looks at them, and this new facility is going to have its own vet room, tables, doctor's office for the animals, and
That's wonderful.
they constantly do need volunteers down there to help.
Mm-hmm.
The time that I went down there wasn't a mean dog in there. There's nothing to get bit from. And when you open that door, you ought to hear them. It's deafening, the barking, and if you get them out of their cage and just walk them around for about 15 minutes while they clean that cage out, they are so happy.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to have people do that.
Yes, you do.
You know,
And you're going to want to take them home with you.
Yes, hey, it's going to hurt your feelings.
Yes, it
Hey,
is.
When I was down there, there's chickens, ducks, there's everything. There's
Chickens and
everything
ducks
down
now.
there. Yeah.
I think chickens would be a commodity or hot commodity because of
the
the eggs.
Yeah.
Everybody wants chickens right now, and that's another thing. We're talking with Mayor Billy Vogle. He is our county mayor for the newbies out there. If you want to know what he does and who he is, but he comes on the show once a month right after the county commissioners meeting, and we appreciate that. And that's something you can watch. They have that online where you can watch the county commissioners meeting, right?
Right,
It's like school
right.
board meeting and all
It's-
those things. They have them where you can stream them if you don't, and you can go and you can
And I'm
sit in
going-
on the meeting, right?
I'm going to brag on my tech guy that does all that. We was rated the #1 county commission run meeting in the United States last year.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Can you believe that little old county court out of Robertson County?
Well, you just it's more that you welcome everybody, but there's a process. It's not you just can't come in and barge in, and there's a process to being before these commission meetings and before the school board meetings, and it's I don't know, what am I trying to say, Mayor?
Well, we're the face of the county.
Yeah.
When people come in from out of state and we watch
Yes.
that, you want to be sure that we're conducting business. We're not arguing back and forth.
Yeah.
We're being civil to each other. It's just, and we are. It's a good group of people.
And that one of the things that you've talked about, and I've heard Dr. Causey talk about, it has a lot to do with the fact that you do your homework before you get to the meeting.
Yes.
And that makes a big difference. That makes a big difference. And so if you have any questions, the door's always open. Reach out to him, to anybody on the county commissioner list, and you'll learn a lot and stay up to date on what's going on in the county.
Let me give a heads up to county court clerk. Last week or 2 weeks ago, right after the first year in the holidays, the parking lot at the building was cram-packed full. And I pulled in there, I'm going, what is going on? It's worse than early voting. And people were coming in as soon as the 23rd, the new year come around, wanting their passports. Well, Nashville had a waiting list of 6 weeks. Cheatham County would not give out passports unless you was a citizen of Cheatham County. Well, our office up there was taking all comers. And it's $45, I think, something like that.
Yeah,
I've never
I
had
think it's a little more than that. And
but anyway, she was taking on that extra burden to help offset the cost of running county government.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
See, that's something we've got to. We're waiting. We can't find my husband's Social Security card, and so we had to order another one because we've got to get his passport ordered. Because I'm planning on taking him with me on the mission trip this year. I'm going to try to take him if he'll go. Some people they're just. I go to Mexico all the time, guys, and I have people they're like, well, I don't know if go to Mexico, get involved in a mission trip because it will change your life. I have some friends that went to Cuba in the fall. I would love to go to Ukraine. Of course, we can't now because I've got friends there, but get involved in a mission trip. And once you go abroad and you see what you will appreciate what we have here so much more, so much more. And it's safe. I know there are places that are dangerous, but just trust Jesus and go, man.
You know,
Let's go.
As we was going through our reports, I was thinking, I've got a new highway department director.
Uh-huh.
And industrial board has got a new face. Yonda Gates, Vonda Gates, Vonda Gates. And have you had her on the show yet?
I don't think so.
You need to get her on the show.
Okay.
She's taking Margot's place, and she's got some big shoes to fill. But I think she's going to hit the ground running.
Yes, I know I haven't because I had Margot on right before she retired and didn't realize she was retiring when she was in here.
I called her last week. She's in Florida.
Yeah, she's chilling.
Yeah.
So
Life
I would
is
love
good.
to have her in. I would
Life
love to
is
have
good.
her in. So
and then of course, I got the new EMS director. So there's some new faces coming into Roberts County. We're completely revamping the zoning office. Got
Right.
new faces in there. We're getting ready for the future, and hopefully you'll see smiling faces when you go in these offices as a taxpayers. Yeah.
there you go. Absolutely. Talking with Mayor Billy Vogle, our county mayor. And we're going to pause for a minute and cover one of our sponsors, and that would be Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center. Now is the time to go in and talk to Miss Amy Corbin because she's not as busy. It's the winter months, and this is the time if you have questions about your garden and how it's going to grow, and maybe where you want to move some plants in your yard, you want to put something here or there, and you're not sure how it will do. This is the time to get those questions answered. She's always willing to always loves to talk to you about that. But while she's got a little bit downtime here in the winter, this would be a really good time to go by and visit with her. They've got their winter hours going on right now. They're open 10 to 4, Monday through Saturday. Sunday, they're open from 1 to 4. So go by and get your questions answered to get some good advice, because if you will source your plants from Corbin, your garden's going to be fabulous. Talk to Brian Pulley about that. He said last year was the first garden he had done exclusively from Corbin. He says, I've never had a better production garden ever. And you can talk to Amy about that because their plants are so well rooted. That makes the difference. Now you can also talk to her about everything that's in the greenhouse right now for your home if you want to bring some beautiful houseplants in. And if you want to talk to them about their CBD products, it has helped me with my arthritis tremendously. It was recommended to me by my doctor, which really surprised me. And then Amy filled me in on all the science and all the details behind it. It's locally produced CBD that's produced from Robertson County plants, and the salves that she and her mom make they've got a bug bite salve, they've got a headache salve, they've got a pain salve that they make right there in their home, and just can't say enough about all that's going on at Corbin Creek, and they are great sponsors of this program. So go by and see them today, 4920 Highway 161, 4920 Highway 161 in Springfield, or you can call them and find out more, 615-343-185, 615-384-3185. Let them know that you appreciate them sponsoring One Street Over, and let them know you turned sent you. Mayor Billy Vogle in the house. What else do you need to talk about, sir? What else happened?
I was going to compliment you. During Christmas, I slipped on the ice.
Oh, my.
Yeah, and tore my ankle. So I told my wife one night, I said, go get that voodoo juice you got. And
You need some CBD?
Yes, my ankle's swollen up and my toes. I said, do something. I'm dying over here.
Oh, wow.
And she used it, and something I did that day did help because it relaxed.
Yeah,
But
that's funny.
yeah, I told her to go get
That's
it.
funny.
Yeah, because I hear you talk about it. And
It's
whenever I
good
do
stuff.
it, when I
It's good
think about
stuff.
it, I think about you.
Well, I appreciate it. And it's good stuff. And Corbin, again, can't say enough about them. Just love them. They're
Yeah.
fun.
We had a unusual last night. We had no election or nominations or appointments last night. Next month we will, because I've got to appoint a few more zoning people on the board. Some have resigned or whatever, but and then we got into our public hearing and plan and zoning. Nothing. There was not one thing voted on last night for zoning.
So there was no one came in and said, "Hey, I want to change this to that," and it was just that's crazy.
Well,
this is just that time of year, though.
I think
everybody's-
it's the holidays,
Yeah.
and I knew when I was doing some real estate, February is always to me was a terrible month.
Okay.
In real estate, but still, I think it's a sign of the times. Interest rates are going up. I think builders are slowing down because they with the interest rate up, and they maybe have enough inventory to finish a house and need to sell it before they start another house. Mm-hmm. But the gate will open back up. That's everybody asked me, said, what do you do to control growth? I'm going to tell you, the interest rate is about a good way to control it. Is you turn that dial up a little bit and you'll see it slow down. Mm-hmm. And then when you turn that dial back down, it'll speed back up. Mm-hmm. But of course, building materials are high. With the Motorola radios, it's going to be 15 months, but do we know we're going to get our parts that we got to do for towers? Mm-hmm. That may be a big holdup. It's the same way with housing. The price of wood. It don't take but disaster around here, and plywood goes up 3 times. So it might be a good thing that this has slowed down a little bit and let everybody catch up a little bit.
Have you checked out? I need to probably have Trent Cobb in here just to kind of give us an update on where building prices are, because they were so dramatically. Yeah. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but they had just blown up as far as the cost. It was like, I think the wood prices tripled at one point, and then I had talked to him probably about 6 months ago, and they were back down to something more reasonable. And I wonder where they are right now. So
I don't know, but I do know when we put a bid,
get an update on that.
When we put bids out for like animal control and different things, about all you're going to get is a 30-day lock in, because the builders don't know what it's going to be in 30 days. Now, I understand that fertilizer for the farmers, I was told last night that it has come down some, and they're predicting it's going to come down more. I
hope so, because last year was nuts.
Yes, it was.
That was insane.
Of course, that has to do with fuel prices, making fertilizer.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to see things slow down a little bit, but I don't think you're going to see land prices go down. I don't believe that, because they don't make no more of it. And Robinson County is where everybody wants to be. Wilson County, Sumner County, we are the hot spots. And it's not going to go down. There's people that's going to cash money in and invest it in land. They're going to sit on it. And they're not going to take a loss. They're going to sit on it until they can make a profit. So I don't see land going down, but you may see building materials and stuff like it go down.
Okay.
As the demand goes down.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Trent and see if I can't get him in here and just kind of give us an update on that. But because I haven't been in that world for so long, I don't really follow it anymore.
I've said it on this radio program many a time. Warren Buffett said, when everybody's running, you need to be walking. And then when everybody starts walking, you get up and start running again. And of course, he's done well.
Yeah. Pretty good advice. I like that.
I like that.
That's pretty good.
I think about it in county government. When we're out here trying to bid projects, maybe we need to hold back until, try to get more bang for your buck.
You don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction to stuff. And that's something I was talking with Carrie Roberts yesterday about. There was a law that got put on the books that was probably a reaction to, and I don't know all the history of it, but our school bus drivers, they legally cannot use GPS guided. They have to use a paper copy schedule to go and drop kid to pick up kids and all that. So if you have a kid that or if you have a bus driver that's sick at the last minute, and you have to say, okay, I need so and so to go drive this route, and they've never been on it, and all they have is a printout of the stops, and they can't watch the GPS like you can in any car. And it's one of those things that kind of got tagged on to a law because there was a wreck because somebody was texting on a bus. And so one of the things that happened because of that really shouldn't have happened is it kind of put them in a corner to where it made it unsafe because they can't use technology to help guide these buses. And so you have to go in and you have to fix all this stuff. And and I don't know where I was going with this. There was something you said that made me think of that. But we just have to constantly be making sure that we're staying on top of stuff. This morning
coming in, there's dark, frosty, and there's kids out there on the side of the road waiting for school bus.
Well, can you imagine if you've got somebody driving that bus that's at the last minute had to come in and call to drive that route that's never driven it?
Lord goodness, the deer are laying everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Every Friday I get more calls about deer on the side of the roads everywhere, and I don't know what happened to all the buzzards. I mean, usually they clean them up, but there is a lot of deer laying around.
Well, and it's that time of the year,
Yep.
too, coming right out of hunting season and all of those things. Talking with Mayor Billy Vogle, I'll tell you, we're just going to, I got a little bit off kilter there, but so we're going to see if we can't kind of bring it back and get out of the rabbit hole that I was heading down. Do mention this, the ILU Maldonado brought this in, and Lee Marie also messaged me about mentioning this. They've got a charter school information session tonight. And it's at 6 to 8 p.m., and you'll find it at Purpose Life Church. So whether you're in favor or not in favor, you can go down there and bring your questions and find out more. But again, that's a charter school information session happening tonight up at Purpose Life Church. If you're interested in that, and you can go and check it out. And then I have to report on something, because this has happened since you were in last. I am now a Cumberland Connect customer.
Well, good for you.
I'm so excited.
I knew you sure been chomping at the bit.
Yesterday, I was talking with Kerry and Senator Roberts, and he's going to be another year before he gets it, because he's considered not so rural.
Right.
Because
he's close to town. It's close to town.
And so he's not considered an urgent case as some of us folks that live more in the rural areas. But see, I got my bling that they brought me these little things when they turned it on. But I turned off. I've already sent my stuff back to AT&T. That's gone. I shut off Dish Network last night. And I'm thrilled. And I've got YouTube TV. I'm actually in a free trial of YouTube TV. I haven't completely decided if I want that or not, because I don't like watching commercials. And I have to watch commercials on YouTube TV, and I'm kind of going, I don't know if I like that. Because I don't have, if I'm going to sit down and watch something, sometimes I only have just a minute or two, and I want to be able to get past the commercial. So somebody tell me how to lose the commercials on YouTube TV, and maybe I'll keep it. But
well, that's who pays the bills. That's who pays.
know.
But just like a football game, a football game lasts an hour, but it takes 4 hours to get it over with.
Ridiculous.
It's nothing but commercials.
Well,
and I lose interest.
The end of that game Sunday, I was not paying any attention, but somebody at my household pointed out how long they were making those last couple of minutes take in
basketball.
Oh yeah, I know. But anyway, if you want to come into the world of high-speed internet and you're a Cumberland Electric customer, you need to get online and you need to check it out. You can get a hold of Cumberland Connect.
Are you doing a commercial now?
I am doing the commercial right now. So we were just chit-chatting, and you got me off track. But anyway, as we will sometimes do. Well, he's a Cumberland Connect customer, so I knew that this is something near and dear to you. And Dr. Causey's been, teasing me about it, because y'all had it before I did, but y'all live more rural than I. But you can also, if you're somebody that I can't afford any type of internet. Well, yes, you can, because there's an affordable connectivity program that provides qualifying households with a monthly credit to help pay for internet services. And if you're eligible, you may receive a credit of up to $30 per month toward broadband services. Now, if you want to know more, there is a phone number you can call. It's 1-800-987-2362, 1-800-987-2362. Or you can go to cumberlandconnect.org, www.cumberlandconnect.org. Put in your zip code, and it'll tell you when they're coming to your neighborhood. They showed up at my house on Martin Luther King Jr. Day to take it from the utility pole to the house. I went out and hugged the guy's neck. He thought I was crazy. And then as soon as they got out of the driveway, I called Cumberland Connect. I said, okay, it's on my house. I need an appointment to get it. And he hasn't turned the paperwork in yet, Miss Vivio. We'll call you.
It didn't take long, though.
No, it didn't. And as soon as they got the paperwork turned in, they called me, and they came out Wednesday last week and set me up. And I'm thrilled. It's just, man, it just flies. It is awesome. I am so excited. But yeah, I'm turning other services off and trying to decide what I'm going to go with. And maybe YouTube TV. I don't know. I may just stream. I don't watch enough TV really to care anymore. So I don't know. We'll see. But I do love my internet. And if I want to watch something, all I got to do is stream it. CumberlandConnect.org. Go and check it out. Talk to them. And be sure and always tell them that U-Turn sent you. And we really appreciate what they're doing with One Street Over. And back to Mayor Billy Vogle. Have you got anything else from the meeting?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
We got into resolutions last night, and the first one right out the gate was, here we go again, talking about animal control. Mm-hmm. We had a 1,500 donation made to animal control.
Oh.
And we did something last year. People, you'd be surprised, in their will leave money to animal control.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes that money was going to general fund. Now, the budget committee has passed a resolution that anything that's donated, contribution, gifts, or whatever, to animal control, automatically goes into their fund. That way you know that if you're donating toward the animals, that the animals are benefiting from it.
Like
it ain't
food
like,
and
hey,
care and things that makes their life immediately better.
Yeah, that 1,500, Kevin out there wants to put it in the vet room for tables, whatever the vet needs to take care of these animals, for Pargo, whatever they got, mange, or when they come in, because a lot of animals do have to be treated before they're adopted back out.
Right.
Yeah, and of course, when you see them coming in as evidence, all that's got to be done before, there's a lot of animals come in and they're in bad shape and you can't help them. But then there is some that can. And it's a sad situation when you go out there, but still, it's got to be done. I mean, it's just, I remember when we first started animal control, we didn't have near enough in the budget what it would take. And a lot of cities are dropping their animal control because it's very expensive. It's very expensive. But we're going to have a facility that we're going to be proud of, and more and more people are donating money. I think we had one lady a couple months ago give $5,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a good cause, and people do love their animals. So that was a resolution. Of course, it passed. It was a gift to the animal control, and then we had to do here's our IT security technology grant. This was for the election voting machines. To secure them as a technology grant for about $12,000, and we have just built a room, folks. I hate to tell you, it costs $400,000 for these machines to be in, where it's like Fort Knox. You can't get in there to them except the election workers, the people that are supposed to be in there, and these machines have to be on a climate control year round. So that was a grant we got for $12,000 that went to Kathy Hambley's office. And I'm going to tell you, when you're doing technology security, I mean, I'm not going to mention the name, but there's a person way up in government I heard got zapped the other day. So you don't never know when you're doing emails and stuff how somebody can get in maybe a machine. They're pretty smart, ain't they?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's ain't they, aren't they? My wife got on this morning. If you can be on the radio, I don't want to hear no country talk. But I'm watching now. When somebody emails me, I just don't automatically pull it up. Because
No.
You could be inviting a virus or anything. But technology is changing daily. And it's very expensive, too, to try to beat these people. Is trying to beat you, getting your Social Security numbers and all. Yeah. Okay, we had here's another grant, went to the schools. Here's a $4,000 gift again, and then we had some state grants for $7,000, and USDA for our cafeterias was about $60,000. This money, as it came in, we had to do later on. You'll see where we done a school budget resolution, but it's here's payment to schools, payment to school buses. It's just different things that comes in. This money has to be put in the right categories. As you see, it's a whole sheet of stuff as you moving money around. And, operating leases, textbooks, dental insurance. I mean, I could go on, just medical insurance, data processing. It's a lot of stuff here. Unemployed compensation, vehicle and equipment insurance. I tell you what, the schools is a budget that is unreal. Around $130 million.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I love being a part of Robbins County Schools, but I know it's a big job. It is a big job.
Yeah, this total expense budget was $75,000, and of course the grants come in and the money from the state where we spend our sales tax dollars, and I wish you'd spend it in Robinson County. Yeah,
there you go.
Let me get that plug in. You may hear that from Jordan today. Yeah,
at the school. She's going to be at Greenbrier High School talking to the seniors. So
yeah, here we go. We got another resolution. The circuit court clerk had loaned a person 15 years ago, I think, to children's court up in Melanie Starks' office, and now this children's court is growing. General Sessions Court. Melanie needed that person full time, but she didn't need the job description that was with circuit court clerk. So circuit court clerk had to hire another lady to do her part of that job. Let me tell you, there's nights up there, they're still there when we're doing county commission. It just, every child has a folder that thick that goes through that court, and it stays with that child until they become an adult. And it takes a lot of paperwork, a lot of people to do that.
Praise the Lord for CASA.
Yeah, there's a lot to be
Court-appointed
done.
special advocate for those kids.
Yeah, juvenile court maintain the records, and it's if you're sometime if there's court up there where I'm at, you're welcome to come in there and sit down and watch and just learn what goes on, how many people it takes to run the court system.
It's a lot.
It takes a lot of people to run the court system. And last, I think we had a surplus property from the schools where they come out of the cafeteria, some stuff that was outdated. And, of course, with grant money, this stuff is being replaced. So don't nothing come in there or leave that we don't know about it and do a resolution about, folks. Everything is accounted for. And that's the reason we have such good audits. And that was our meeting last night. It was
very good.
No old business. Of course, we do election of notaries. If you want to be a notary, you can go by the county court clerk's office and get you something to fill out, and we'll vote on you. Yeah.
Okay, you could be a notary. There you
Yeah.
go.
A lot of people don't want to be notaries. If they are, they
It's a
don't want anybody to know. Yeah, it's a big
You
responsibility.
better believe it. I had somebody try to get me to be a notary for them one time. It's some stuff when I was doing English second language with
Yeah.
some friends of mine from Egypt, and I was just like, I
Well,
don't know. I don't know.
If I don't know you, why would I sign off?
That's just it. They were real. What they were wanting me to do, I'm like, I don't think I'm your girl. I don't think I'm your girl.
Well, we do about 25 or 30 a month.
Yeah.
But someone's renewables, you know.
True.
Yeah.
But it's just to authenticate your signature.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm doing with my students right now is I'm having them all develop a unique signature, because so many of them, they'll go to sign something and they'll print their name, and I'm like, you need to know how to do cursive at least for your name.
Where does
And
doctors
let's
learn
work
how to
on
do
that.
their signature?
Well, I told them, I said, no, unlegible ones. And I said, I don't want anything crazy, but I said, you need to spend a minute developing a signature. So you've got something that's yours. And I said, just intentionally, and I'm giving them a grade for it. So, because so many of them they print their name. You need to learn to cursive write your signature. We're out of time.
Yeah, but let me give doctors a break. I sign some stuff every day. I notice by the end of the day, it gets pretty sloppy.
Mine too, it can be. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us here for One Street Over. We appreciate you. And thank you, Mayor, for always coming in here and being a part of our show. We appreciate
Enjoy
your
it.
time. We know you're a busy man, so we thank you, and thank you for joining us. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a fabulous day.